My name is Christopher from Cars Unlocked. I'm an automotive finance manager in the Canadian finance industry. I get asked a lot from customers if a lease or a loan is right for them, and generally I educate them just like we're going to do in this video today to help them determine if a lease and a loan is right. Let's get started. In order to determine if you are the right candidate for a lease or a loan, you need to understand the differences of both. So I'm going to start with the lease. You need to picture leasing as like a long-term rental, typically over a 2 to 5 year period for the vehicle. Your monthly lease payments go towards the use of the vehicle instead of the ownership of the vehicle. At the end of the leasing period, the customer must return the vehicle to the leasing company or the car dealership, or they can purchase it for the current market value. In contrast, a loan is defined as money borrowed in order to purchase the vehicle. The borrower agrees to pay back the loan in full, including the interest, by a certain date. Typically, monthly or bi-weekly payments range from a 2 to 8 year period. Your monthly payments go towards owning the vehicle as opposed to the usage of the vehicle, and at the end of your loan, you own the car. So now you understand the difference between the two. Now you need to ask yourself a few questions to help determine which one is right for you. My customers who are typically do a lease, they're someone who likes to drive a new car every 2 to 3 years. They prefer lower monthly payments. They like the latest and greatest technology and safety features. They prefer to have their vehicles covered under warranty, because a lease, you're always going to have the vehicle covered under warranty. And they're secure in their job, their lifestyle, their family. Everything is stable and predictable. They don't drive an excessive amount of kilometers. Usually most leases are about 20,000 to 24,000 kilometers per year. So if you've answered yes to those questions, then maybe you're the right candidate for a lease. If you're looking to get a loan, you need to ask yourself some of these questions, because these are some ideal candidates that I have, that I see just common, consistent things that people who lean towards loans, they all have these traits and qualities. So they prefer completely owning their vehicleship outright. They want to drive the car and they're comfortable driving it for 8 to 10 years and having maybe an older car at the end when they're payment free for those last few years after their loan is complete. Also, if you like to customize or modify your car, then a loan will be right for you, because you have the ability to change the car or paint it, modify it, do anything under the hood that you want if you have a loan for the vehicle. If you don't mind driving a car for a long time, even as it ages, maybe you drive an excessive amount of kilometers, you have a long commute to work, maybe your lifestyle is changing, your family, your job might be unpredictable, then a loan would be kind of better for you. If you're thinking more of a short-term plan for your ownership of a car, maybe 2-3 years, then I would recommend doing a lease. So basically, the benefits of a lease is you can own the car for maybe 3 years, and you can just, when you're finished those 3 years, you give the car back to the dealership and you're done. If you have a loan, you're going to make the loan payments, which will be substantially higher than a lease, and you'll have to sell your car privately or back to the dealership and hope they recover the remaining balance of the loan at the end of the 3 years. And generally, at the end of a 3 year period, what you owe on the car versus what the car's worth is not the same. So if you're thinking short term, then a lease would definitely be the way to go. Now, 5 year loan is when sometimes things kind of even out. You can have a 5 year lease for a vehicle, and the price pretty much averages out the same if you did a 5 year loan. Your lease, you might have a little bit lower payments, but you're gonna give the vehicle back at the end of those 5 years. If you have a 5 year loan for the vehicle, you'll either have to sell the vehicle at the end of the 5 years or give it back, and you'll hopefully get the full market value. So the cost of the ownership for the loan might be the same as a lease over 5 years. It might come out slightly higher for the loan if you can sell your car for more than what you owe. And usually after the 5 year mark, what you owe on the car is generally around the market value. Lastly, if you're considering a long-term cost of ownership, maybe a 9 to 10 year plan for the vehicle, then I would probably rule out the lease. For example, someone in a lease over a 10-year period might do 2 5-year leases, while someone in a loan might take a 5 to 8 year loan for the vehicle. Generally, the long-term plan always works out better with a loan. your long-term financial cost is always going to be less, and your important objective is going to be to get to those golden years where you don't have any payments. Your goal of a loan would be to drive the car for 8 to 9 years and have it go until you can no longer afford the repairs on the vehicle, or the cost of maintenance begins to exceed the cost of ownership. Someone with a lease, if they did 2 5-year loans, they would be making payments for 10 years straight, while someone with a loan for a vehicle might be able to go 8 years, 7 years, make payments, and then have those 3 glory years of no payments. As long as you keep your vehicle properly maintained and don't drive an excessive amount of kilometers, the loan will definitely outweigh the cost of the lease here, and you'll definitely have a cheaper overall cost of ownership with the loan. So to summarize, the positives of leasing is that you get a new car, you get the latest and greatest safety technology. Every few years with the lease, you have lower monthly payments, and you'll always be covered under warranty, so there won't be many out-of-pocket expenses. The downside of a lease is that you're constantly making monthly payments. You'll always have monthly payments for your whole life if you continue to do leasing. You're limited to the number of kilometers you can travel. You're limited to the amount of modifications you can do on the vehicle, and any damage or anything like that on the vehicle when you return the lease, you'll have to cover. So the rule of thumb that we use is basically anything like a dent or a scratch that's bigger than a toonie, you'll have to pay when you return the lease back to the manufacturer. In contrast, the positives of getting a loan for a vehicle is your overall long-term cost of ownership is going to be less. Hopefully you can make it into those golden years where you don't have any payments. You can modify, you can change, you can customize the car, and you're not limited to any kilometer restrictions. You can move, lifestyle changing, job changing. You can drive the car as much as you want. The downside of that is you may have higher monthly payments, and you may have some unexpected repairs in the later years. You're also going to be driving an older car in those later years that might seem outdated to you, and you're not going to have the latest and greatest flashy vehicle. So thanks so much for watching, guys. After watching this video, if you're still unsure whether a lease or a loan is right for you, do not hesitate to ask me in the comment section below what your thoughts are. I'll be more than happy to help you out. As always, subscribe to my channel for more car buying tips, and follow me on Instagram. If you have more personal questions, feel free, and we can connect that way. Have a great day.